Welcome to the Oyster Aero PearlCast. I am Jeff Yergi, founder of Oyster Aero, and we have Tyler Norman, CEO of Aero Engine Solutions, with us, who launched AES back in 2015. And AES has grown, engineering, maintenance, leasing, trading, surplus parts distribution, portfolio management, real estate. Tyler, you are everywhere. I see you're a fellow Embry-Riddle Eagle. Did you go to Daytona, Prescott, Worldwide? How'd you start off?
I did. I went to the Daytona campus, fresh from getting out of the Marine Corps in 2009. Spent a couple of
Awesome.
years actually at the Daytona campus. Following that, went and got my MBA from the Fort Lauderdale campus, which is a
Okay.
remote campus. While I was working at Aero Turbine, I continued my education and then finished my master's while I was working full time.
Very cool. All right. So I guess let's just kind of jump into AES back in 2015. Why'd you start at the company? What was the environment like back then? That kind of thing.
Sure. So started at Aero Turbine, which at that point was owned by AerCap. So
Yep.
large aircraft leasing company, and really was just buying and trading CFM engine parts. That's where I cut my teeth, kind of understood that part of the business, and really was, out of the Marine Corps, out of college, not really sure where I wanted to go. It was either a federal job offer, which is kind of the logical transition from the military career path.
Sure.
There was this company called Boeing that was doing 787. So I had an offer up there in Charleston in their quality program. And then there was this kind of unique company called Aero Turbine, which was
Yep.
actually a quite large player in the space. If you remember, I mean,
Okay.
$500 million a year company, had a lease pool, an engine repair shop in the back, a really strong team. And you stayed there for a few years, got some really good mentorship. Some really, like I said, there's some really smart people at Aero Turbine back then, and I ended up leaving there, started an engine division for Intertrade, who was owned by that point at Rockwell Collins.
Yep.
And they were great at buying airframes and doing avionics, but they couldn't buy aircraft because they didn't know anything about engines. So
Right.
my mentor at Aero Turbine, Jeff Place, left, and him and I started an engine division. And to be candid, it's just such a Titanic-like company. Obviously a Fortune
Yeah.
5, very hard to have that entrepreneurial spirit when you're in these big huge mega companies. And my father was an entrepreneur. He was in the food distribution industry, and we just really had these candid conversations that, hey, Ty, he was supporting me at that time and said, hey, if you want to do this, I'll do a 50-50 venture with you, and line up a contract or two, and let's see what we can do. And at that point, being in corporate America for 5 years, the paychecks at that point were not very lucrative
Sure.
for what I was looking forward to, and I just thought I didn't have a ton of risk. I always felt like I could go back to corporate America and obtain a job at some of these bigger firms and go run their product lines and go kind of right back into what I was doing if I was a failure. But fortunately, AES at that point, we started with a plan. Really, I was brokering unserviceable Dash 3 engines, and I had a contract to buy 10 and a contract to sell 10. I was literally not touching the engines, but making 40,000 per engine. And
Wow.
so I was thinking, man, if my first year, if I can make 400,000 off of these engines, that I've quadrupled my salary and had a great year, and everybody's happy. And fortunately, we ended up doing 16 million the first year, and kind of took off running from that point. And the rest is kind of headwinds. Obviously, just been very thankful and blessed to have so many people around that have lifted up AES and so many great employees now. And um, today, as you mentioned, we're doing real estate. We do aircraft and engine leasing.
Yep.
We've got consignments from some of the largest airlines in the world, all CFM. Our core business is literally just selling CFM engine parts, but now we do logistics, we do module containers, we do engine stand leasing, we do asset trading, exchanges. We build engines, we sell engines, we lease engines. We've got a portfolio. I think of right now we're at 13 engines on lease, with plans to put more on this year. And so the business has grown. It's not always been the vision. I guess the vision changes with time. The
Sure.
vision changes with your finance structure, with people that you come across with along the way. I remember my first credit facility with with a large bank was $1 million. And the covenants about using that were very restrictive and almost make it very impossible for growth. And today we've got a $70 million credit facility, and that continues to grow. And just the path was, full of curveballs, both on the health side and on the
Sure.
business side. But very thankful for where we're at today and where we continue to go.
Well, you guys are rock stars. I mean, we see you everywhere. We see your staff everywhere. Everybody seems to be having fun working hard, of course, but work hard, play hard as well. I saw some renderings of a new facility. Is that down in Florida there?
It is. It's close to downtown Palm Beach. It's
Okay.
not the cheapest place to start a project like this, but we're really excited about it. We had our own buildings in Port St. Lucie, which is a little
Yep.
bit cheaper area. COVID comes and the price is quadrupled in that area, so it made a lot of sense to sell all of our real estate at that point
Yep.
and get in. Obviously a lot of unknowns when COVID happened with everybody in aviation, I believe, and so we thought that it would be a good time to relocate to Palm Beach, find something that we could long-term lease and grow into. So we found a big building, which has been, a good building, but the longer term goal was always to find it customize our own building from the ground up and venture more into real estate. And so we've created an entity now. We've got almost 4 acres of flat land, and we're going through traffic studies and all the, bureaucracies of how you got to go and deal with the government and build a building. But
Sure.
we hope to physically break ground no later than the end of this year and be into the new building by the middle of next year. Two
Congrats.
separate buildings, yeah. So
Yeah.
42,000 warehouse, 32-foot tall ceilings, tilt wall, and then we're going to build a separate office space. So two separate buildings. So we'll have a gym, fitness center, and all some pickleball courts, and for when people want to visit.
Pickleball. Yeah, I saw some matches recently. Um, so you had mentioned you're a Marine. Thank you for your service. I guess also, I think I had seen a comment of yours somewhere where you like to hire veterans. How does that kind of help your culture out? How does that, I know it's kind of obvious, but I want to hear your experience and, surrounding yourself with veterans.
I find it very easy to get along with veterans. Very not saying that non-veterans are not, but we've had very good successful track record with hiring veterans.
Yeah.
More than 50% of our staff today are veterans. Obviously, I have a little bit bias towards the Marine Corps, but if I can get them to stop eating crayons in my warehouse, then they work pretty hard. So and all good fun. No, it's a brotherhood, right? And
Uh,
obviously military service members in general are very appreciative.
sure.
We are very active, and that kind of rolls into Aerospace Salutes, which is a veteran organization that I've created with myself and the board, and working with the VA hospital. We fed the VA. We take care of Gold Star families. We're out doing fundraising for veterans. We went to the VA for the holidays and fed everybody in the assisted living, and just being, getting these guys back into the community. And we've got a guy who just came out of the Marine Corps 6 months ago. So we've got younger veterans, older veterans, retired veterans, just kind of getting them engaged and back in this, spirit decor is what we would call it in the Marine Corps, but to be around veterans every day. And I think that's really cool when, they can transition from previous life into AES and kind of still feel that sense of brotherhood.
Fantastic. I mean, our industry tends to really stick by each other. You have to prove yourself, but once you do, so how can we help Aerospace Salutes?
Sure.
Do you have
Aeros,
events? Do
yeah, we
you
do. We
take
do.
donations?
We like to get creative with the events. So we've done everything from poker nights to pickleball tournaments to golf
Yep.
tournaments to paintball tournaments to whatever you like. Every quarter we try to do an event. Again, I've got a great board that helps. Aerospacesalutes.org is where you can find it. You can donate on the website. We're now creating some merchandise to support that, which uh, you can go on the website and see what
Yeah.
we've created. But yeah, really excited about it. I wish I had more time to do it. It's one of the highlights of everything that we get to do is give back.
Yeah.
Just so everybody's aware, I don't take a penny We don't pay for meals. We don't pay for every dollar that we get goes directly to people that need it, and we're not out paying for our own meals with to that funds. Aero Engine Solutions pays for everything outside of the actual donations go directly to the people that need it. So really, really proud of that point.
Fantastic. Over time, let us help you get the word out to as many people as we can. I think that'll be good as we expand the oyster community. You obviously know everybody, but we support that 100%. So, what does the next couple of years look like? I mean, you've touched on real estate, you've touched on a new building. Are you going to get into, are you going to stay engines? I mean, what does the next couple of years of growth look like for you?
Sure. Listen, organic growth is our goal, right? We don't want to
Uh,
just grow to grow. Still a privately held company, not have really no outside shareholders, and so we don't really know what our point of diminishing returns is yet. But
all
again,
right.
let's grow because we're making more money. Let's just not grow to show growth.
Oh,
But we really like the leasing space. It goes kind of hand in hand with the parts space, with the logistics space.
yeah,
We like to build engines. We can use some of our slower moving material when we're building these engines, and so there's a really good synergy there, and we'll continue to do that. And now that we've got some capital behind us, um, we can go and build more engines and put more engines on lease. And again, we're touching so many engines right now. We've got so many parts, and so there's so many good opportunities to put that material into our own engines, get some green time off these engines that just need light repairs and work scopes, and go put them back into service and hold them, right? Because at the end of the day, when they become unserviceable, we want to bring them back to the part level at AES.
very cool. Is all the work done in Florida?
For the most part, yeah, we've got
Okay.
consignment and partnerships around the world,
Yep.
especially in Europe. Um, but we like to use the local repair shops. Just we can go down there, touch our parts, do the
Yep.
tabletop inspections ourselves, and use our in-house engineering capability to maximize that.
Awesome. All right. Well, Tyler, thank you so much for being on. I know this was a short stint in a really exciting business, but thanks for being here, and we're looking forward to seeing you out and about.
Look forward to it. We'll see you hopefully at an event. Well, MRO, ISTAT, all the
Yeah.
good events coming up. So look forward
All
to
right.
it.
Be good. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.